Hey Gold Rush fans, the season finale of Gold Rush, it's coming this Friday, so let's break it down. Welcome back everybody to Gold Rush Minute. If you're new to the channel or a subscriber, I'm Gold Rush Minute, where I break down the most recent episode of Gold Rush and all its spin-offs. We talk about the miners and go over past episodes of the series. So this is it everybody, the season is coming to an end and the miners, they're going to give everything they got. So let's start off with the Claytons. So the Claytons, they're in a bad situation, so let's talk about it. Number one, the brothers are well behind the mark this season. They had no chance of getting 500 ounces, so they moved it to 200. And as of right now, they won't even hit that mark. This season was a tough one, from the start. And in my opinion, they did everything they could to save and salvage this season. Number two, the promise of Golden Acres ended up being a nightmare for the brothers. The untested ground was supposed to bring them piles of gold, but honestly, they wasted their time, money, and effort to get there. The most recent gold totals have been nothing but disappointing for the crew. The mentality of working harder, putting in more hours, in my opinion, is a waste of time at this point. If the ground doesn't hold the gold, they don't need to waste their time being there. So let's talk about the gold now. So they're at 139 ounces, so they need 61 more ounces to hit that goal of 200 ounces. Last week's 13.2 and the previous 7.2 kind of gives an idea of what will come. But with this being the season finale, who really knows? This week the brothers will have a decent gold haul and mine right around 21 ounces of gold, bringing them to an even 160 for the season. Next up is Parker. So last week's 928 ounces is what we expect from Parker, and with a finale episode coming this Friday, nothing less than 1,000 ounces will be needed to be mined. Last week Parker did one of the most boneheaded moves I've ever seen him do in his entire time on Gold Rush. The Panama Canal Cut is producing the best gold he has ever mined in the Klondike, and then he pulls Lucifer off the site due to the generator catching fire. In my opinion, Parker has two options here. So option one, he has to move Big Red over to the Panama Canal Cut and run that gold-rich pay dirt. Or number two, haul the pay dirt from the Panama Canal Cut over to Big Red. Either way, they need to run this pay dirt because when they're done this season, they're done on the Indian River. This last push of this season is going to add a lot of pressure onto Mitch and Tyson. Hopefully Parker doesn't lose another great employee like he did with Brandon. Let's talk about the gold now. So like I said, this is a go big or go home. This episode will be amazing for Parker and they'll be able to pull in over 1,000 ounces of gold. And yes, I am hopeful on that, but they'll beat last year's gold total of 8,400 ounces. Hey everybody, just want to take a moment and thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel. And if you haven't yet, it only takes a moment and it's free to do. Next up is Team Beats. So Tony's in the best situation of all the miners. He's sitting only 400 ounces away from his goal of 5,000 ounces. So he will hit and surpass his goal this season. And now the only question is by how much? This season, out of all the miners, Tony had everything work out for him. He had some hiccups during this season, but he was able to overcome each one. This is where decades of mining experience comes in. Let's talk about the gold now. 400 ounces is needed to hit that goal of 5,000 ounces. Last week, they didn't do a gold weigh. And this week, for the season finale, it's going to be a massive one. With the 2 weeks of mining and with Tony's average per week, the Beats should easily mine anywhere between 700 to possibly 800 ounces of gold. Last up is Team Misfits. So they're sitting at 138 ounces, and they're behind Team Clayton by an ounce of gold. So Fred might have to pay that case of whiskey to Brandon. So let's talk about what Team Misfits has done this season. Let's start with what they've done wrong. Number one, they never tested the ground. They're chasing a vein and not testing the ground is basically going by luck and knowledge, both of which the team leader has neither. Number two, Fred always being in charge. Fred has an experienced crew member in Buzz, someone who lives and breathes gold mining. This is someone who I would personally have given the keys to at the beginning of the season. Number three, they're running subpar pay dirt and hoping for the best. Since they made it to the Freedom Cut, they've had horrible cleanups. Now, I know it's a numbers game. More pay dirt should equal more gold. But like I've said before, if the gold's not in the ground, you can't mine it. Number four, not keeping up with maintenance. This season he had the most downtime of all the miners. Having Parker come in and identify issues to me was more of a slap in the face. Fred is a very inexperienced miner, and luckily though he did take Parker's advice. So let's talk about what Fred did right this season. Number one, he hired Buzz. And that's honestly all I could really come up with. So let's talk about the gold now. With this being the season finale, and we all know they'll have a decent gold weigh, Fred and his crew, they'll mine right around 17 ounces of gold, bringing them to a season total of 155 ounces. There you have it, Gold Rush fans. If you like the content and you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. It's free to do, and I greatly appreciate it. Till the next time.